I guess what I want to talk about now is, there are so many new AI companies that are just popping up. I mean, if you're a broker and you're seeing yet another company that's trying to sell their AI services to you, why are there so many tech companies that add this voice now?
Yeah, it's easier now than ever to add AI voice to your system. Looking back at like early last year, like early 2024 or like late 23, a lot of people were trying to roll their own AI voice, which was just, basically transcribing speech to text, feeding to an LLM, generating the audio, playing it back. And then like last year, we really started to see the rise and popularity of these infrastructure as a service kind of companies, what we're calling horizontal companies now, which are companies that basically just handle the whole nuance around creating and maintaining like real-time conversations. So it's really easy now to go onto a provider like Bland, Retail, Vappy, and build workflows out on top of their systems to like solve a specific problem in your space. And it doesn't require you to know like the intricacies of how to get low latency response times or how to know when the AI should wait to respond if like somebody's halfway through a sentence. And you could really just focus on solving a specific problem, which just made it really easy just for all these people to come like create new products that solve a specific problem that even just a couple companies might have.
Yeah, so I guess I want to talk a little bit more about Bland being horizontal AI. What is that difference between horizontal and vertical AI? If I'm a brokerage, how do I know which one benefits me and my specific operations?
Either one can really benefit you. It's just a matter of like how you want to approach it. So again, horizontal is really going to be more generalized, usually more flexible. They probably will have a UI that you can go in and actually like drag and drop a workflow and build out kind of like a if this then that solution. It gives you a little bit more control of your cost and like exactly how you want your workflows to work, but it's a little bit more overhead to actually like build it. When you talk about a vertical solution, those players in the space, they're not always built on top of a horizontal solution necessarily. They might be all the way ground up, but they're a lot more focused on the specific space they're trying to solve. So they're not worried quite as much about the real-time voice responses and like low latency. They've solved that, but they're not trying to be cutting edge on that front. They're trying to be cutting edge on things like for logistics space, a vertical solution there is going to already have solved problems of making sure that AI knows what a reefer is and what a realistic temperature response would be when doing a check call, or when to ask certain questions about timing of like what's your ETA or what kind of trailer you have and things of that nature, where it's a little bit more niche to the problem space and not quite as generalized. So I guess I didn't really answer the question, but basically when you're looking at as a brokerage like which one you want to use, it's a matter of like if you want more control of the solution and you have the effort, you can build on a horizontal offering. You're going to have to actually dedicate time to making sure it understands how logistics terms work, things of that nature, but you're going to have control. You're going to define it all. You're going to say exactly how I want it to go. If you go to more of a vertical solution, it's probably going to be a lot more plug and play. You're going to be able to just it might even have an integration into your systems already because it's going to be in your industry. So you're able to just like plug it in and it just works day one, but you're going to have a little less flexibility on making sure the workflow works exactly how you want it to work. You're probably going to have to do a little bit more give and take on changing your process to match how like their system, like this vertical solution is going to expect it to work. So there's a little bit of trade-off there. So you really just have to compare kind of how much effort you're looking to put in, what's your budget, and how big is the problem you're really trying to solve, and see if there's a vertical offering that really can just plug and play, drop in, and it matches the budget. Probably makes more sense. If you've got more of a custom thing that you need solved for, you're going to want to look more at horizontal solutions.
So I saw this tweet recently from Bland that they put out just kind of talking about the 2025 top AI agents by industry, and it shows legitimately like every services industry out there: government, training, logistics, auto dealers, real estate, all of this. If I'm just kind of like surface level tech savvy here, how do I know for sure that if a company that I'm getting this AI agent through to help my brokerage, if they're using Bland, how much do I need to be able to cover on my side to customize for my services? That can kind of be daunting. Like, hey, if I bring on this company that's got AI voice, well, how much am I going to have to teach it to know this industry, because it's just so generalized right now?
There's a lot of trade-offs, right? So, if you're looking at a company that's built on a horizontal offering like Bland, it also means that they're not spending as much time making sure that like the phone calls sound good or like the pauses sound right and things of that nature. So they're going to be spending more time on exactly what you're talking about, understanding the problem, understanding what a truck is, all these logistic terms. So there's kind of benefit there of like, if you even care if they're built on Bland, if they're spending more time with you. Putting it down, the flip side is that they may not have as much control over cost. If they're built on a provider like that and that provider decides to up their prices, probably going to trickle that price increase down to you. But realistically, the whole industry is kind of like racing to the bottom on price right now. LLMs are just getting faster and cheaper to run, so it's just going to get cheaper. Honestly, I think Bland's tweet is obviously kind of just like trying to be funny, which it was. Yeah. I thought it was pretty funny. I think those are great guys over there. We worked with them in the past. I think they're just trying to raise awareness that, hey, like their platform isn't necessarily just to do sales calls or this or that they're actually like infrastructure as a service. They are a Twilio for AI voice. And you don't have to use Bland only if you're in retail, only if you're in car sales. It can apply everywhere. I think a lot of the people in the space in AI voice know that. They're familiar. A lot of them use these providers because they're great. Why would you want to spend time sort of like reinventing the wheel in a lot of ways? Mm-hmm. But a lot of people outside of that circle aren't aware of that yet. And so I think it's good to know just especially as like a buyer, if you're going into a space that doesn't have a lot of vertical offerings, especially like you're trying to solve a problem, nobody seems to really do it quite what you're trying to do yet. It's good to know that, hey, this isn't like you have to build AI voice from the ground up now. There are options out there that you could go to a Vappy or a Retail or a Bland and say, hey, we want to try to solve this, and they can help you or get you in contact with an expert that can help you build it out. There are more options than somebody that's built AI voice for your exact problem, basically. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. A lot of people think that the AI voice that's out there is all super specialized and like, how would you possibly add AI voice yourself? And it's actually just getting easier, and it's really not as big of a lift now as it was a year ago.
If you had to summarize the process of building your own AI voice, how would you put that?
Building AI voice like from the ground up, or like today you're saying, hey, you're going to add AI voice, how do you do it?
Yeah, that. So like if I was to decide I'm going to add AI voice today, what does that look like?
My advice would definitely be go find one of these horizontal providers that you like. They all have different kind of trade-offs, different UIs. Some have more advanced workflow editors, some have better voices. Try a couple of them out, see which one you like the best, and then build on top of that. I think all of them now pretty much have like a workflow editor built in, so you can drag and drop nodes to create the flow of the call as you want it. And I would go there, and if you outgrow that system and you get to the point of we need something custom, then you can go down the route of actually building more of it yourself or trying to find more of a vertical. And then obviously if there's a vertical that exists that solves your problem directly already, like obviously go have that conversation with them. Why build it yourself if that's an offering there? At least go check it out for sure. And when you look at the voices, like that's one that people bring up a lot too, is the quality of voice, and training a voice is also very easy today. 11 Labs is pretty cheap, generally speaking, and their UI is great and always getting better. Their models are very fast, and going on there, you can watch 100 different YouTube videos on training a voice on 11 Labs. It's very simple. You essentially just have someone read through a transcript talking about that the AI will basically be talking about in a phone call, and you feed that into 11 Labs, it trains a voice, and you're done. And as long as you have a decent transcript, somebody reading it sounding natural, that training will go very well, and the voice will sound really natural. And it's really as complicated as that.
If I'm a brokerage with kind of like this surface level tech understanding, I feel like at this moment, vertical is definitely a good route to shop for, the needs of basic logistics operations right now. But if you do have that team that's like, with a good understanding and can really have that time and that commitment to be able to teach the AI agent themselves, maybe you kind of go into that horizontal route because it's a lot more sandbox, right? You're given the skeleton, now you can build the human.
Yeah.
Specifically, like very specifically to what the services and the needs of your operation are.
Yeah, exactly. This is the part where somebody's audio is not recording.
Yeah, right.
We'll find out shortly.